Hi everyone, welcome to English with Sepid. Today we are gonna work on American English File 3. So, we are on Unit 1, Part B, 1B, okay? Page 8. Let's go. Family life. We are going to talk about family and we are going to learn a lot of vocabulary about family, plus grammar. There are a lot of things to be learned here. Let's go. So here on Part B, vocabulary section, okay, vocabulary section, Part B. There are the titles that we give our family members, okay? So, a father and a parent. So, father, you know that. Dad is the informal word for it. Parent. Parent can be a mom or a dad, both of them. And if you want to consider them like two people as the same, we can say parents. So, parents. My parents are very kind. It means my mom and dad are really kind. So, next is a mother. Mother, okay? The informal word is mom. And a stepmother. A stepmother. Stepmother means, for instance, after two people get divorced, mom and dad get divorced, okay? So what happens? Dad marries another woman. So that woman is a stepmother to you. So we call it stepmother. Next is a brother and a brother-in-law. Okay, brother, so, and brother-in-law. For instance, I get married and the person whom I get married to is my husband. My husband has a brother. His brother is brother-in-law to me. Okay, so brother-in-law. Next is a grandfather. Our mom or dad's father is called a grandfather. And a great-grandfather. Okay, this is a kind of ancestor to us. So great-grandfather. It means my mom's or dad's grandfather, who is a great-grandfather to me. So, next is a nephew. A nephew. My brother or my sister. Okay, one of them. They have a son. Okay, both of them can. For example, either can be my sister's son or my brother's son. We call that child nephew. Okay, the child must be a boy. And a niece. If my brother or my sister has a daughter, okay, so we can call that girl, baby girl, we can call her niece, okay? Not necessarily a baby, but the daughter of my sister or my brother is called a niece. A child, child. The synonym for that is a kid. And an only child. If I don't have any brothers or sisters, I'm an only child in the family, okay? Your immediate family consists of your mother, your father, and siblings, brothers or sisters, immediate family. And extended family, it means a very large family. It consists of your aunts, your grandmother, grandfather, okay, grandparents. So, and there's a very big family. We call that extended family. So, these were the vocabulary about family that we learned. Now, let's go to part C. Here there is a reading text, okay, which is related to part C. You're gonna answer these parts, okay, number 2 to 5, okay, there are some points here. Number 1 has been answered, okay, but you're gonna answer this part and put these percentages here. And afterwards, in part D, you can listen and check your answers, whether they are correct or not. It's a kind of text about the family. So let's go to the text. Changing for the better. Changing for the better. Let's go. Family life is changing in the US, but not in the way we might think. The results of several different US surveys expected to find that family relationships were suffering because of the decline. Decline means decrease in traditional family structures. So, the traditional family structures are on a decline. Let's go and see what's happening. However, some of the results were very surprising. So, you're gonna see some results here which are really surprising. So, 32% of young adults under 25 and 10% of adults 30 to 34 still live at home with their parents. Wow, they live at home with their parents. That's it. Let's go to the next part. 43% of families eat together every day. They eat together every day. So that's a good habit. They have the ritual of mealtime. They follow the ritual of mealtime. Ritual means something that we do as a habit. So, RITUAL, ritual. So, 33% say they have the TV on during dinner. Cool. But during the dinner, watching TV, is it a good habit or not? I cannot decide really. Okay, sometimes it can be. Next is 50% think a new baby in the family brings more happiness. Wow, a baby can bring happiness. So I side with them. Side with them, it means I agree with them. SIDE, side with somebody. Next, 49% of adults are happy and enjoy their lives without a lot of stress. Cool. And number 2, you are going to complete that based on the percentages on part C on page 8. Okay, so let's go. Of adults are not happy and have a lot of stress or worry in their lives. Yeah, adult life is really difficult. It's full of stress and pressure. So, number 3, again, you're going to complete that. Of teens feel close to their family. So, the teens feel close to their family. It means they think that they have a good relationship, they can get along with their families. Next is, of teens want to spend more time with their parents. Yeah. And of parents stay connected with their children on social networks. Of parents worry about what their kids post on social networks. 40%. Wow. 40% of parents worry about what their kids post on social networks. Yeah, it's a huge worry, yeah, isn't it? And next is 17% of elderly women live with a relative such as a daughter, daughter-in-law, or grandchild. That's it. So these were some surprising results that we can see in the families. Okay, now take a look at the photo above. There's a photo above. There are 3 photos, not 1. Okay, so let's go to these photos and analyze them a little bit. So the first photo is a family get-together. Okay, they have an alfresco meal. Alfresco meal means eating outside in open air, okay, areas. So we call that alfresco. A-L-F-R-E-S-C-O, alfresco. So next photo, what's happening here? Are they having an argument? The parents? I guess they are discussing something, okay? And the last photo, you see a grandchild and the grandma. The grandma is trying to spend some time with the grandchild. That's great. Okay, so these were the photos here. Now, let's go to part E. These are the speaking parts. I want to read these parts and you are gonna speak about them, okay? Record your voice and check your voice afterwards, whether you have some mistakes or not. You can have it checked by your friends, okay? If your friend's English is better, you can have it checked by her or him. That's it. So let's go. Do you think that families should have a meal together every day? Do you think that ritual of mealtime is good or not? Children should leave home as soon as they can afford to. Do you think that is a kind of good idea? If they can afford, if they have the money, they should leave home. Okay, so you're going to discuss this item. Parents and their teenage children should spend a lot of time together. Okay, that's a good point, I guess, but you should just say or state your opinion about that. Parents should be friends with their children on social networking sites. So, for instance, on Instagram, on Twitter, the parents and their kids can be friends. Okay, send some texts, send photos, share some different things like this. So, elderly parents should live with their children when they are too old to live alone. Okay, for instance, if your parents get old, okay, they're over the hill, so they can join you and live with you. Is it a good idea? Like this. So this speaking section is really important. So my tip here would be to find some vocabulary online, okay, on Google, and go for this section and answer these questions. Try to use the vocabulary that you found. This is a really good technique. Okay, so there is a very useful part in the box below the speaking section. Take a look at the box. Useful language, giving your opinion. We often use should plus verb to say what we think is right thing or a good thing to do. I think families should have dinner together every day because I don't think parents should be friends with their children on Twitter because, okay, so it's giving a tip. Here says that on part E, speaking section, you can have some useful grammatical points like should. So, should shows the advice. If you want to give a piece of advice to somebody, you can use should or ought to. O-U-G-H-T, ought to. It can be used interchangeably, okay? If you don't want to use should, you can say ought to. So that's it. You can give some pieces of advice on part E speaking. It's a good tip. So let's see. On page 9, we are gonna go for the grammar. So the grammar of this section is really important. It's been written in detail on page 133, Grammar Bank, and I'm gonna right now explain it on the board. Let's go. Now, let's turn to our grammar part. Our grammar part is about future tense, okay? Future tenses, actually. Be, going to, present continuous, and will. So, there are 3 forms that we can use in future tense. That's it. So, let's get started with be going to. Okay, be going to. I am going to. She is going to. This is the fixed part, okay, which shows the future. So, I'm going to learn English. She's going to meet us. Okay, that's it. So let's go. There are 2 usages. Now, we learned the form. Okay, the form is like I am going to, she is going to, they are going to, am is are, be. Right now, about the practical usage of that. We can use it for predictions. So if you want to talk about the predictions, we can use be going to. But what kind of predictions? Let's take a look at the example. Look at those clouds. Look at those clouds. Okay, you see that the sky is cloudy. I think it's going to rain. I think it is be. Is going to is the fixed part. Rain after be going to, your verb is simple. Okay, the base form, bare infinitive. Look at those clouds. I think it's going to rain. It means based on a sign, we decide that something is gonna happen. So there must be a sign that we see that. We make our deduction. So based on what I see, something is gonna happen. For instance, my student never studies. Okay, I say, oh my God, he is going to fail the exam. So based on the things I have seen, I'm saying this. Or we can say, okay, we see that somebody is working really hard. Okay, we say she's going to be successful. So there must be a sign which can prove our prediction. You need a proof here. Proof, actually. So here, the second usage of be going to is intention. So if you intend to do something, you can use be going to. You are 100% sure that you're going to do it. Let's go. My sister is going to adopt a child. My sister is going to adopt a child. It means she has the intention. She's sure about her decision. Okay, we say my sister is going to adopt a child. So, for instance, about my intentions, I'm going to buy a new bicycle. I'm going to buy a new bicycle. So it's a kind of intention to me, and I'm in the situation and I have all the facilities in order to do so. That's it. But I haven't done it yet. In future, I'm gonna do it. So, up to here, I'm gonna is the informal pronunciation of be going to, okay? So I'm going to do it. I'm gonna do it. This is the pronunciation, but it's informal. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna ride a bike. That's it. I'm gonna visit my parents. Now, next part is present continuous. So we're going to talk about present continuous. Present continuous is a kind of tense that we use in present. You know that. For instance, I'm teaching, you're watching, they are listening, like this right now. But here, we can use it for future as well, okay? So let's go. We can use it for arrangements, especially for future arrangements. What are the arrangements? The plans that we have set beforehand, and we are sure that we are gonna do them 100% sure about it. But there's a kind of difference between arrangements and intentions in be going to. So, in intentions, you can say that I'm planning to do it, okay? It can be for far future as well. It can be near future, immediate future, or far future. But present continuous belongs to only immediate future. So we cannot talk about far future is wrong, okay? So let's go. We are meeting at 10 at Jack's office. It's immediate future. So we are meeting. It means in future, but it's immediate future. It's not very far, okay? For instance, I'm cooking spaghetti tonight. I'm cooking spaghetti tonight. So again, it's a kind of arrangement. And there is a kind of nicety that I want to just touch the point here. Intention is something that is needed to be done step by step in order to be fulfilled, okay? There are some steps that you're gonna do, but arrangement are the set of steps that have been done, okay? And the last step is only left, okay? Because of that, we say that present continuous is for immediate future because we are on the last step. But here, be going to, we are on the first step. We should just pass the steps in order to fulfill the task. So that was the nicety about that. Let's go to the next point. Will. We can use will for future. Okay, let's take a look at one of the usages of them. Let's start from the last part. Prediction. We are going to talk about the prediction. So, you might be familiar with prediction on this board. Prediction here. We have that, okay? So, prediction is like this in will. Let's go. First of all, let's just learn the grammar. You will, this is the short form of that. After will, you have the simple verb, okay? So, let's go. You love New York City. You love New York City. It means this is my prediction. This is my personal thought or opinion. That's really important, okay? So, right now, we figure out a difference between prediction here, prediction of will, and prediction of be going to. If you're talking about prediction and you are using will, you are stating that it's your personal thought. You cannot prove it, okay? But in be going to, it's based on some signs and you can prove it. So let's see. Here, for instance, I can say, she won't be successful because I hate her. That's it. It's based on a personal thought because I don't have any other proof that shows that she's going to be unsuccessful. So it's only a kind of feeling inside me. But here, she isn't going to be successful because she doesn't do any homework. Okay? So it's based on a sign. Pay attention. That's it. That was about prediction. Right now, these were the differences that we were discussing. Now, we are going to go for other usages of will. So, the first usage here, instant decision. For instance, you're at a restaurant, you wanna order something. You can say, I'll have the steak. So you are not planning anything before. You're not deciding beforehand. It's not like going to and present continuous because they are based on plans. But here, will is based on some instant decisions, okay? For instance, we are at the market. My friend doesn't have any change or doesn't have any money. I say, okay, I'll pay for it. That's it. So I'll pay for it. It means it's a kind of instant decision. At that moment, I decide to help somebody. Next is promise. Promise. I won't tell anybody where you are. I won't tell anybody where you are. So I promise. It's okay. You can say, for example, I promise I won't. But if you don't say the word promise, again, it shows that you're promising something. For instance, my mom goes away for a week and I say, I will take care of your flowers. I promise that I will take care of her flowers. So we can use it for promise. And next is offer. I'll carry that bag for you. So my bag is really heavy and somebody sees me and say, okay, I'll carry that bag for you. It means it's a kind of offer. It's like asking, but inside that. It's not a question form, but it's a kind of request. You say, I'll carry that bag for you. And I would say, of course, I'll be happy like this. So, or I say that, oh my God, my phone is going off or is turning off. And after that, my friend says, okay, don't worry, I'll call your mom and tell her about it. I'll call your mom and tell her about it. Offer. And I say, I'd be really thankful if you do so. Like this. So, future fact. I'll be home all afternoon. It's a kind of fact. I don't have anything to do. Okay? Or it's a kind of weekend. I can say, I'll be home all afternoon. Or tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we will have an exam. Again, it's a kind of future fact. It's going to happen in the future. So, and we talked about the prediction. This was all about the future tense. Try to use them, take notes in your notebook, and do the tasks in your book, American English File 3. Let's go to the next section. So, after learning grammar, right now, it's time to activate that. But before this, we are gonna go to page 9. Take a look at page 9. On pronunciation, part A, okay? In the box, it says that try to make the parts that are very important information bold in your speaking, okay? By giving rhythm to your speaking is really important. So let's go to part A and read these sentences. Here it says, are you, okay? I don't say, are you, okay? It's wrong. So I say, are you? Like this, because it's something normal, are you? But here, these two information which are in bold, they're really important, which are highlighted. They're really important. Are you coming home for dinner tonight? Did you pay attention? Are you coming home for dinner tonight? So there's a kind of rhythm in the speaking. No, I'm going out with my friends. So again, rhythm, like intonated form is really important. What are you going to do in the summer? Again, and we're going to rent a house with my sister and her husband. So it's really important, if you're giving the rhythm to your speaking, your listener is gonna be really sharp and she or he's gonna listen to you, okay? You're gonna keep the listener focused on your speaking. Do you think they'll have children soon? I don't think so. I don't think so. Not for a few years anyway. Again, there is a kind of rhythm in your speaking. So it's really important to keep your listener interested. So if you speak like flatly, okay, or you speak flat, it's gonna make your listener bored. So it's better to speak in intonated form. Let's see. On part C, you can activate the grammatical points that I taught you. So let's take a look at some of the examples here. Are you having dinner with your family tonight? It's asking about your arrangement. You're going to answer that and you're going to describe what type of dinner is it going to be, okay? So, or is anyone in your family getting married soon? Or doing something with a family member this week. Are you doing something with a family member this week? Are you visiting a relative this weekend? So again, you can activate that. It's really important. And the other parts, are you going to? Here, you're going to talk about going to. Are you going to have a new nephew or niece soon? Are you going to have a big family get-together soon? Are you going to go on vacation with your family this year? And are you going to buy a present for a member of your family this month? Again, it's a kind of far future if you've paid attention, but the previous part, which was concerning the present continuous, is about immediate future. And next is, do you think the number of people getting divorced will go up or down in the future? Personal thought, prediction, okay? Do you think the birth rate will go up or down in your country? Again, personal thought and prediction. Prediction which is based on personal thought. Do you think anyone in your family will live to be 90 or more? And do you think you will move away from or back to the area where your family lives? So that's the point. Pay attention, activate your grammar, and try to use the grammatical points that you've learned. Let's go to the next part. So, on next part, on page 10, there's a reading section, okay? So, there's a very important exercise here on part D. There are highlighted vocabulary here, and you are gonna find the highlighted vocabulary and answer this part, okay? So these are the definitions. On part D, you see definitions of highlighted vocabulary in the text. First of all, I'm gonna read the text and then we're gonna find out the highlighted vocabulary which suit best here. Let's go. The younger brother, novelist Tim Lott. Rivalry between brothers is normal. Rivalry, competition. But there was a special reason for the tension between us. Tension, it means a kind of pressure, argument. I was very ill when I was born and spent 3 months in the hospital with my mother. My brother did not see her at all during that time because he went to stay with an aunt. When our mother returned home, it was with a sick newborn baby who took all the attention. No wonder he hated me. Although, if you ask Jeff, he will say that he didn't. We remember things differently. My brother and I were completely different. We shared the same bedroom, but he was neat and I was really messy. He was responsible. I was rebellious. Rebellious. It means a person who never obeys the older people. We call that rebellious. A person who wants to have his or her own way. So, he was sensible. Sensible means logical. I was emotional. It means full of feeling. I don't have any positive memories of our childhood together. Though there must have been good moments. Jeff says, we used to play cowboys and Indians, but I only remember him trying to suffocate me under the bed covers. Suffocate means to leave somebody breathless by putting something on their mouth or nose, like this. We call that suffocate. For instance, choke. To just make somebody breathless by holding your hand under their throat. So we call that choke, but this is suffocate. My relationship with Jeff has influenced my attitude toward my own four daughters. If the girls fight, I always think that the younger child is innocent. It means not guilty. But the good news about brothers and sisters is that when they get older, they value each other more. Appreciate. Value means appreciate. Jeff is now one of my best friends, and I like and admire him greatly, for better or for worse, in good days or bad days. We share a whole history. It is the longest relationship in my life. Cool. Let's go to the next text. The only child, journalist Sarah Lee. I went to boarding school when I was 7. Boarding school is the kind of school that you can stay there, sleep in its dormitory like this. And the hardest thing I found was making friends because I was an only child. I just didn't know how to do it. The thing is that when you are an only child, you spend a lot of your time with adults, fully grown people. And you are often the only child in a gathering of adults. Get together means gathering. Your parents go on living more or less the way they have always lived, only now you are there too. I found being an only child interesting because it gave me a view of the world of adults that children in a big family might not get. And I know it has, at least partly, made me the kind of person I am. I never liked being one of a group. For example, if I have to be in a group, I will always try to go off and do something on my own or be with just one other person. I'm not comfortable with being one of a gang, group of friends, we call that gang. My parents are divorced now, and my mother lives in the US and my father in the UK. I feel very responsible for them. I feel responsible for their happiness. I'm the closest relative in the world to each of them, and I am very aware of that. It means I fully know that. Okay, based on the vocabulary which are highlighted in the text, you can complete part D, okay? These are the definitions of the vocabulary. For instance, number 1, ill. In highlighted part, sick is correct. So that's the point. And let's turn to the next part. Now, on the last part of this session, we are gonna turn to vocabulary, especially the vocabulary which are about personality. Okay, so let's turn to page 100 53 in order to analyze the vocabulary here. So the vocabulary here are about personality. Mostly they are adjectives. Let's learn them. Part 1, what are they like? It means, what's their personality like? Let's go. Affectionate, affectionate, kind and compassionate. Aggressive, aggressive, very angry. Ambitious, ambitious, a person who looks for high ranks, okay? Sets his or her eyes high. Anxious, anxious, very worried. Bossy, bossy, a person who orders people. Bossy. Charming, charming, very attractive. Competitive, competitive. It means a person who loves competitions. Independent, independent, a person who relies on herself or himself. Independent. Jealous, jealous, it means envious. You have the red car. I have to have that red car. Why do you have it? Moody, moody, a person who is not stable, who has mood swings. Rebellious, rebellious, a person who is disobedient and never listens to others. Reliable, reliable, it means a person who is dependable, you can trust. Selfish, selfish, it means self-centered, a person who thinks only about himself or herself, not others. Sensible, sensible means logical. Sensitive, sensitive means delicate, a person who considers herself or herself feelings very much and considers others' feelings as well. So, sociable, sociable, outgoing. Spoiled, spoiled, pampered. For instance, there are some children whose parents do whatever they want, and as a result, they are spoiled. Okay, because they have everything, okay, and they don't listen to their parents like this. They are very spoiled. Stubborn, stubborn, a person who is tough-headed, never listens to others' thoughts, and does whatever he or she thinks. So, you can complete this exercise below based on the vocabulary that you have learned here. Let's go to part 2, opposites. So, I'm going to tell you the meaning of these words and you're going to match the opposites, okay? So, you have a column below. You see that? Cheap, cheap, not expensive. We call that cheap. Is one of the meanings of that, okay? So, or a person who doesn't like to spend money. Again, we call that person is cheap. Next is hard-working. Hard-working, a person who works really hard, okay, makes a great attempt. Outgoing. Outgoing means sociable, a person who likes to communicate with others in society. Self-confident. Self-confident, a person who is sure of himself or herself. Stupid. Stupid, a person who is not very intelligent. We call that stupid. Talkative, a person who talks a lot. Let's go to the column. Generous, a person who likes to spend money, to give others money, or to spend a lot of things or money for others. So, or to share the things with them. Insecure, insecure, a person who is not sure of himself or herself. Lazy, a person who doesn't like to work. Quiet, a person who doesn't like to speak. Shy, a person who doesn't like to be in the society, in assemblies, okay, that person is shy. Smart means intelligent, okay. Based on the clues that I've given you, you can match the opposites. So let's go to part 3, negative prefixes. This part is really important. So, the first vocab is ambitious. ambitious, a person who wants high ranks. And a person who is modest is unambitious. So you can make it negative by adding on. Next is clean. Clean, you know that. So, and unclean. Unclean is the opposite of that. Friendly, a person who is really warm. Unfriendly, a person who is crisp, doesn't like to be really warm and friendly with you. Honest, honest, a person who tells the truth always. And dishonest, a person who is a liar, just tells lies. Imaginative means creative, and negative form is unimaginative. Kind, unkind. Mature means fully grown, adult. Mature is opposite of that is childish, immature. Okay, double M, immature. Organized means tidy, and opposite of that, disorganized. Patient means tolerant, a person who can tolerate difficult situations. And impatient, I am impatient, a person who cannot tolerate difficult situations. Reliable, a person whom you can trust, okay? So we call that reliable. And unreliable, a person who is not trustworthy. Responsible, irresponsible, double R. Selfish, a person who is self-centered. Unselfish, a person who doesn't only consider himself or herself, tries to think about others. Sensitive, sensitive we said delicate. And insensitive, a person who says that your feelings are not important to me, okay? So that person is insensitive. Sociable and unsociable. So that's the end of this part's vocabulary. Now take a look at this box. In this box, there is a point. It says that pay attention to the meaning of sensible and sympathetic, okay? Sensible means somebody is reasonable, who can make reasonable decisions, who is logical. We call that sensible. And sympathetic means a person who thinks about others' feelings and who can put himself or herself in their situation or in their shoes. A person who can understand others, sympathetic. But in some languages, they are different, okay? So, sensible in French and Italian language, Spanish and French language means sensitive. But sensitive is different. In English, sensitive means delicate, a person who pays attention to his or herself, especially about the feelings, okay, or others' feelings, sensitive. It means delicate. And sensible means a logical person, a person who thinks based on logic, based on reasons, rhyme and reason. And sympathetic in Turkish language, sempatik, we say sempatik. It means funny or nice, you know, cool person. We call it sympathetic. But sympathetic is different here. Sympathetic means a person who is able to understand other people's feelings and put herself or himself in their situation. So it's really important to understand the meaning of this. So that was today's lesson. Try to take notes in your notebook. Use the grammar and the vocabulary that you have learned. See you next session.